I just need a little bit of your time, and I'm pretty good with time. And why is that? Because I'm a teacher, not a speaker. You all, it's time just to go back to the basics. I'm gonna call this triple O. I'm referring to order of operations. This is not a new concept. It's just a reminder, y'all. Think back to elementary school in math when we had PEMDAS. You know what I'm talking about. Aunt Sally, we had the parentheses, the exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. That's the order of operation. I'm talking about algebraic expressions. We gotta take it back to the basics. You know, I gotta remind myself, I consider myself to be pretty good in the kitchen. I have a little bit of culinary skills, but what happened over the last few years, I used to make these cookies around the holiday time. They were these white chocolate cherry macadamia nut cookies. They were so good, and I've made them for years, but the last few years, you know what happened? I've just been messing them up, and I could not figure out why. But this past year, you know what I did? I had to go back to the basics. I had to actually look up the basic recipe. Now I knew all that it took. I would glance at what was needed, but I did not go back to the basics. And there was one step that I often overlooked the last few years, and I was supposed to use the blender and blend it together for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, I had the exact amount of ingredients, so I had the right stuff. I put them together, I had it at the right temperature, baked for the proper amount of time, but there was one step in the process, like I said, that I easily overlooked, that I often overlooked, which was that 3 to 5 minute process in which it had to be beat with the hand mixture. It took me going back to the basics this past holiday season for me to really remember and understand that sometimes we have to go back to the basics, the original order of operations. And I gotta tell you, those cookies were so good. Moving forward, I know a lot of times we have that new year, new me, you know, it's a fresh week, it's a brand new day, and that's good. I love that level of optimism. However, let's not negate the basics. So I remember even when I was in class, my science teacher told me when I was younger how we dilute an acid. She gave us this awkward rhyme. She said, do what you ought to, pour acid into water. If I wanted to dilute down an acid, basically make it weaker, there was an order of operations. You're just thinking I could just add water to it, but there's a certain way that it goes. I have to do what I ought to, pour the acid into water. I don't pour the water into acid. So just think about that. If I want to dilute an acid, I have a cup of acid, a cup of water. I can't just mix them together, even though they will eventually be blended together. There is an order. I do not pour water into acid. I pour acid into water. If I don't follow the procedures, the likelihood of there being some type of injury or acid burn is going to increase because I have to stick to the basics, you all. Remember, there is an order of operations. I want us to continue to grow. I want us to continue to progress. I do not want us to overlook the fundamental principles that we established in life, the fundamental principles that we're taught so that we can build upon it and grow. And why do I want us to grow? You know why? Because I'm a teacher, not a speaker, and I want you to have an amazing day.